back. This is beginning guitar, day number 5. So we're going to repeat a lot of things and let's get into it. So first up, grab your phone or grab your tuning device, grab your guitar, whatever guitar that is. And the good thing about this structure is that even if you're a little bit behind, you always get this feeling that you can catch back up. So right away, we're just going to make sure that we're in tune. So with that phone, grab your tuning app, Guitar Tuna, rest it on your thigh, and let's get working. Make sure the top one is E. Second one down is A. Third is D. Fourth is G. Now, a little pro tip for you, and this will last forever. Whenever you tune, try to go from bottom up. In other words, try to tune low and then up to pitch. And what that does is it brings your tension up to a maximum point at that level you're stopping. If you loosen the string and then stop there, it's going to slacken more and more as you play it. But yeah, tightening up to a point is always better, okay? Second to last is B, and last is E. Okay, let's get into it. So first thing on the agenda is a warm-up. We always want to warm up. In this case, I'm opting to use the pick a lot in this class, so I want you to be using your pick as much as possible, okay? Just to get yourself used to and accustomed to the position. And remember, you can use the rightmost palm knuckle here, this giant bone here. You can rest that on the tailpiece or on the bridge, and that's a really good anchor point to begin, okay? Relax your body, bring your shoulders back, and let's get going. So we're going to do the chromatic scale on all 6. Now this is beginning guitar, so really focus on going up this way, just to keep it simple. All right, let's get started. The very first one. And again, if you need, you can write down the piano keyboard, okay? So that means either get the PDF, the JPEG, or PNG file, get the image of the keyboard in your mind as early as possible in your guitar career, okay? So that means get C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and so on into your brain, okay? So that's, it's still too bright, yeah, I was worried about that. But I can put an image in there for you. But just get the piano keyboard in front of you and let's do this. So let's go E to shining E, okay? Top one, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. Now, take this time, make sure that you're establishing good form. If you feel like you're lurching forward, bring it back a little bit. Get your wrist involved. So push your wrist in front of the guitar more while keeping that thumb against the middle of the neck on the back side, okay? And remember, you're also going to be keeping your finger pressure on. So as you climb up, you're not taking your fingers off. You're keeping them on, okay? So again, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. Slide A sharp, B, C. Slide C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. Now next string, A sharp, B, C. C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and A. Now, you've been doing entirely down plucks, probably. I want you to start doing down and up. So alternate down and up with your right hand, okay? So going on to the D string. D, D sharp, E. Sorry, let's start alternating. D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, and D. Now it's going to take some concentration for your left and right hands to work in tandem. Next, we're going to go to the G string, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, B, slide C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, and G. Remember, the B and the E don't have a sharp. Everything else has a sharp, so it's very easy to remember. Just remember those two things, right? That one thing of those two notes, B and E, they don't have a sharp. Next string is B. B, C, C sharp, D, E. Sorry, let me try that again. B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, slide E. And try to go straight down with your fingertips here. So there's E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. Last string is E again. So E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. I don't expect you to go that fast, but if you're getting faster and faster, that's a really good sign. Just to iron in the concept, B and E have no sharp. Everything else has a sharp, so we want to get used to that, okay? And then you're going to go down, you're going to go backwards, okay? So, and I really want you to, I know it's kind of like a torture in the beginning, but it's important to know how to go down with flats as well. So if you feel up to the challenge and you really want to stimulate yourself with the class, then I would suggest doing flats as well. So that would be E, E flat, D, D flat, slide C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, and E. Now when you're doing flats, what you might notice is that C has no flat and F has no flat, right? But that should make sense to you because if B has no sharp, then C has no flat, correct? And if E has no sharp, then F has no flat. It should make sense to you. There's no note in between those, okay? So that's it. I want you to practice that first segment on your own for a little bit, okay? So I just want you to do it because you probably did it with me now, and I want you to practice doing it on your own. Go all the way up left and right with all 6 strings, okay? And give yourself 5 minutes. If you haven't already, I would invest in a guitar stand. It's much nicer to put your guitar down somewhere. So something like this works pretty well. You just get a little stand that is hopefully sturdy and doesn't wobble. And that helps a lot. So when you take the guitar off, you can just put it down into the stand and you know it's not going anywhere. Just be careful. Some stands don't work all that well with off-center or offset body types. This is a Jazzmaster, which has an offset body type. You see how this side comes out a little bit farther, this bottom side, a little bit farther than the top horn. So I love that style though. Okay, now we're just going to piggyback off of the chromatic scale and jump right into the natural note scale. Natural meaning it has no sharps and no flats, okay? So we're going to just do it quickly, and I want you to follow along. E is the first one. So what we're going to do is we're going to play E all the way up to E with every note in between except for sharps and flats. What we just did with the chromatic scale was we played every single tone between E and E, so up an entire octave. That's 12 tones we played. Now we're doing the natural note scale, which is not 12 tones. It's 7, okay? So here we go. E, F. That's on the first fret, okay? So E, F, G. Now we're going to do this on the left and right direction. We're going to go horizontally this time. So natural note scale, E to E, E, F, G, slide A, B, C, slide up D and E. Let's try that again without talking. It's pretty fun, right? Actually, it's a little more fun than the chromatic scale. It's okay, but I like doing this. Now you feel like you're kind of playing a riff, which is what we want, okay? So we're riffing, that's what this section is. Now we're going to do it on the A string. So we're going to play the A natural note scale all the way up the string. So let's work carefully here. A. Now we need B, so we use our middle finger. There's B, then C. Slide up for D, then E. Right next door is F. Slide up to G, and then A again. Let's try that again, carefully with no talking. Maybe with notes, sorry. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Now, be careful with which fingers you choose. And you might be wondering, how do I know which finger to use for which note? Be logical, right? You want to give yourself enough room to be able to use most of your fingers whenever you can. You don't want to just use your index for everything because then you're moving a lot, and that's not good. You want to minimize the amount of movement you need. So the reason why I use my middle finger here is because that's the natural position at the very bottom. So I use my middle finger for B and my ring finger for C. Then I slide up for D, okay? Instead of using my index for everything, it's slow. We don't want slow. As a guitarist, we need fast. So use all of your fingers. Okay, next string is the D string. So we'll do D natural note scale. D to D, no sharps, no flats. So D, E, F. It's kind of the same story, right? Slide up to G, A, B, C, and D again. Easy. Okay, let's do it again. With notes D, E, F, slide G, A, B, got a slide there, C and D. Now again without talking. Nice. Not so bad. If you can, start to do the alternation in the right hand and the pick, okay? So G string, we're going G to G, no sharps, no flats. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I like this one a lot. Okay, again, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Then B to shining B on the next string. B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Cool. It's kind of a unique pattern, right? You're starting to notice every string has a unique pattern that your hand positions go into. And you just have to be logical and slow in the beginning to understand which note comes next. Being really only sure that you're not hitting any sharps or flats. As long as you never hit a sharp or flat, you're fine, you're golden. So that's the only rule for yourself as you're doing this. It's a good exercise for your brain because you're trying to figure out, is this one a sharp or not? And so you have to learn quickly that B and E have no sharp. So it should be pretty straightforward, right? If you do the last string, the E string, F, you know that F has a sharp, right? So you skip over it to get to G. Then you slide to A. You know A has a sharp, so you skip to get to B. B has no sharp, so you use your pinky here. And there's C. Then slide up to D, and E again. And the faster you get going up on these and back, the better, because then it's going to feel like you're riffing. And riffing is kind of the next step. So day 6 is going to be entirely about riffs and how to create them and how to work with what we call phrasing. But before you can get phrasing, we need to really do this natural note scale all the way left and right, okay? So practice this on your own. 5 minutes. Segment 3 of day 5. We're going to review the chords that we picked up last time, the C, A, G, E, D chords. If you wrote them down, break them out. If you didn't, that's okay. We'll go back through them again, but we're going to go back through it quickly. That's kind of how it goes. So let's go through them now. First chord, C major. If I describe this to you from top to bottom, the positions on the frets would be 0, 3, 2, 0, 1, and 0. Okay, so. And again, we're working with the pick, so let's strum it out. Next chord is the A major. A major is 0, 0, 2, 2, 2, 0. So everything's getting tucked into the second fret. Okay, there's A major. Now G major is 3, 2, 0, 0, 0, 3. E major is 0, 2, 2, 1, 0, 0. And D major is 0, 0, 0, 2, 3, 2. And again, with the D major, we try not to hit the top string because it doesn't really belong in the chord. We will get into which notes belong into chords in advanced guitar class. For now, we're just going to focus on getting the shapes into our left hand, getting the physical mechanics out, and then we'll worry about the theoretical later. Okay, but if you'd like to know more about the theoretical, please don't hesitate to ask me because that's the most fun stuff for me to teach, and I love getting into that. Okay, so quickly, we're just going to play down strum C, up strum A, down strum G, up strum E, and lastly down strum D. Let me show you what I mean. Down strum C major. Now with the left hand, switch to A major. see what I did? And now I'm going to change to G with a down strum, change to the E major with an up strum, and go down on the D major. And that's the end. We can continue this cycle over and over again if we go to the C major. So now it's starting with the up strum. We go to A with a down strum, up with a G, down with an E, up with a D, down with a C. And we can do this forever, and that's what I want you to do. So I want you to put on the metronome now. So pull up that Metronome Beats app, okay? So on your screen, it should look like a little metronome like that. Oh, you can't see that, but it's a little metronome, and you should set it to about 60 BPM. Or you can listen to me, okay? But when you practice, set it to about 60. All right. Okay. I'm going to try, for every 4 ticks, I'm going to try a chord change, okay? So 1, 2, down on C major. Get ready for A. 2, 3 to G. 2, 3, E. 2, 3 to D. 2, 3. Now with alternation. So up on C, 2, 3 to A. 2, 3 going up on G. 2, 3 going down on E. 2, 3 coming up on D. 2, 3, and so on and so forth. And that's all you really need to practice. When you get more confident, you should be able to play the chords a little bit faster. So maybe instead of every 4 ticks, you'll play a different chord on every 2 ticks. So let me try that now. 2, 3, 4, C, A, G, E, and D. And always trying to be close to the tick of the metronome. So get into the rhythm of the pulse and try not to play off time. Play correctly when the ticks are happening, okay? So give that a shot. 5 minutes. Okay, I want to review techniques with you. So those techniques are muting, sliding, hammer on, bend, and pull off. I guess it should be mute, hammer on, pull off, slide, mute, hammer on, pull off, slide, and bend, right? Any one of those 5. Now the muting is happening in the right hand, which what we call it a palm mute. And that's where you basically use the flesh of your right hand to mute the strings from making sound. You want to leave just a little bit of pressure off so that we hear a bit of the tone, right? If you fully mute it, if you push down too hard, can't really hear anything. So a little bit is okay. All right, so now, as we review these techniques, I'd like to go down using the natural note scale, because that's, again, getting closer and closer to this idea of riffing, where you can break out and be a badass and play super cool sounding guitar. But before we get to the super cool sounding stuff, we need to be able to use technique, okay? So let's go through the E natural note scale with muting. So, okay, so let me just say the notes. E, F, G. Again, I'm muting with the right hand the entire way. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. So try that much slowly. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Okay. Now a little bit faster and maybe across all 6 strings. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Now try going all the way down with the palm mute again. Okay, and have more fun with it, get into it, get speed going, and then try to do it with a metronome. So with 60 BPM, we're going to try playing 1 tone per tick. And we can try to clean that up. Let's go backwards. Now for me, this is a time to practice my technique and really emphasize the not only precision of the pulse to hit on exactly on time, but to also make sure that I'm not only muting, but that I'm striking both down and up, because I want to be efficient. If I'm always plucking down, it's always going to sound bad. So I really want to focus on efficiency and skill and try to go down and up when it makes sense, right? So if I go 1, 2, 3, well, I just went down, up, down. So my next one is going to the next string. So there I will go down again onto the A string. And again. Now there I ended going up. So I'm still going to go, right? Every time you finish one note and you're about to go to the next string, just keep going down. It makes more sense, right? Sorry. If you finish on that string and you're about to go to the next one and you just did an up strum, well, then you're going to have to go down anyway, and it's a little bit trickier. But there's no reason to do that if you don't have to, okay? So that's the E natural note scale against all 6. Now let's try doing it on G. So let's start on G. Let's start on F, rather. Let's go F. So F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So F, sorry, I was supposed to stop on F. F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Then we can go against all 6. Sorry, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. That's the Lydian scale. We'll get into the modes in the next class, so in Guitar Advanced. Okay, but I want you to practice palm muting all 6 and try doing it for every natural note scale. It's super fun that way. So you can actually start transitioning between the two. Let's say you do the first 3 strings on the E natural note scale, and then you close it out by moving up and playing the G. Okay, so. And then you can start right here and you can play the F to shining F right here. And you can slide up to the next position as well. So if you started on G, you could play a completely new natural note pattern. And that's what I want you to practice, okay? So practice for 5 minutes, any natural note scale you like, whether that's E, F, G, A, B, C, D, or E up here. Okay, we're on to the last one. So we're going to talk about, sorry, not the last one. We're on to the next one. This is the second to last one. We're going to talk about your first minor chord. So let's start with A minor. A minor chord sounds a bit more melancholy than a major chord. Here's your major chord, so A major, and here's A minor. There's something a little bit wrong with it, right? And that's minor. To my ear, it sounds better. All right. So this one, if I described it to you, would be 0, 0, 2, 2, 1, 0. That looks pretty familiar. In fact, it's the exact same thing as the E major, just down by 1 string each. So it's like the whole thing got moved down by 1 string. Okay, so that's a good thing to practice too, is transitioning between those two. All right, but this is A minor. And I'd like to start arpeggiating using the pick. This is going to be new for a lot of you, and it's going to be quite tricky because you're not going to know where your fingers are and where you're actually plucking, which string you're hitting. It's a very common thing with guitarists. You just have to give yourself an anchor. That means your right palm needs to go somewhere consistently so that when you strike the notes, if you don't have this palm in the right place, if you're just going randomly, I can still get by, but you're still in space and it's much less consistent. So plop it down somewhere and try to measure and try to individually hit a new string. So you're hopping over each string each time you play through and always returning to the same one on top. It doesn't really matter to me the order. What matters to me is that you start getting comfortable and you can start plucking individual strings without fear. And I want you to go one by one down each one, right? So, and then start skipping. So, and if you make a mistake, it's no big deal. Just try again. We're just trying to get comfortable with the skipping over strings. And it's going to take a lot of time for you to start feeling the distance you need to move your wrist to allow your fingers to get to where they need to go. So give yourself the time with that A minor. Have fun with it. Play a lot of it, okay? Keep it simple for now. Just stick to that A minor. And try to learn how to move across all 6 strings consistently. Pick little challenges for yourself, like say E to E, and then start going E to B, E to G, E to D, E to A. Easy, right? Now just try doing alternation. So E to A, E to D, E to G, E to B, and E to E. And hopefully you'll start to get comfortable. All right, practice that. Give yourself plenty of time for this, and we will come back together for the very last part of today, and it's going to be a wonderful intro into riffing. It's going to be your first blues riff slash lick, okay? And it's going to be a scale, but it's an easy scale. We'll come right back for the pentatonic. Okay, this is the last segment for day 5 on beginning guitar, and we're going to do the pentatonic scale now. We just learned A minor, which is great. Now we need to learn how to play a solo or how to play a phrase of music on top of the A minor sound. So for that, we're going to take our left index finger and we're going to put it on the 5th fret. And this is a good time for you to have a pen in your right hand so you can write down what I'm saying so that you can practice this after I'm gone. Or you can look this up on your own. But for the sake of simplicity, let's do this together, okay? So index finger goes on the 5th fret, number 5. And you can write now 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. You can write 6 fives going up in a column, okay? Because every single time we play with our index finger, it's going to be on the 5th fret. All right, so the first one is 5. And now we're going to stretch, not to our middle, not to our ring, but to our pinky finger on the 8th fret. So you can write one of two things. You can write 5, 8, or you can write index, pinky. The benefit of writing 5, 8 is that you're seeing that it's 5th fret to 8th fret. You could also write A, C, and I would prefer this, but that's okay. The best for now, for your level, might be to write IP, because it's your index, and then you're skipping your middle, your ring, and your pinky to play there. Okay? So here's how the pattern looks in index, pinky notation. Index, pinky, index, ring, index, ring, index, ring, index, pinky, index, pinky. In terms of frets, it would be 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. Good? Okay, so I want you to write that down. Either way works for you, okay? And if you're really feeling up to it, you can write down the individual note names. I would prefer this, right? So that would be A, C, D, E. Next one's G, A. So that should tell you about the notes we're using, right? A, C, D, E, G. And A again. So those are the only notes we're using in this scale. Then you continue. So the next one would be C, D, E, G, A, C. It's a little tricky, right? You got to work your way through it, figure out what the notes are. Okay, take your time, go carefully. But again, minor pentatonic scale for now is 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. And the trick is to keep your index on that 5th fret. It's always going to play that 5th fret as long as we're playing A minor pentatonic, okay? So A minor pentatonic is happening here. Now the cool thing about the IP notation is that it works everywhere. So if you write starting on the 3rd fret and you still write IP, IP, it would sound like this. Okay, I can do this everywhere. So if I do this on, say, 7, now I'm playing B. So now if you write this in succession, if you do it all over the place, it starts to sound really cool. It starts to kind of sound like, well, the blues, because it is. This is the blues I'm teaching you. Super simple, super fun. Give yourself plenty of time for this because it's a lot of, it's really important not only to riff on top of music, but just important as a guitarist when you're jamming and when you're playing for fun, especially when you're practicing those techniques. There is arguably nothing better than playing the minor pentatonic with those techniques. So what I mean is you play IP, IR, IR, IR with bend, IP, IP. And I'm starting to use hammer-ons, I'm starting to use bend, I'm starting to use slide, and whatever else I have, right, a pull-off, okay? And I want you to practice all of those techniques with the minor pentatonic scale. So again, IP, IR, 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 IP, IP. That's it. Go have fun with it, and I'll see you in the next class where we are going to riff pretty much the entire class, all right? We're going to listen to some riffs, we're going to play some riffs, and have a good time. Okay, cheers. Have a nice break.